if you guys read the title, this is a few Pokemon that I think should have different types. So number 1 is Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan, I'm not that mad about this because it's smart that they didn't give it any weird types, but still, Kangaskhan looks like a fighter, and also it should have an evolution, or not an evolution, first evolution where it's just like the baby, because when I hatch an egg and then see a Kangaskhan with a baby, that looks kind of weird. Second is Latios. Latios's type is okay, but it should still be a flying type, because flying is kind of its thing. Also, it would make a lot more sense for it to not be a dragon, because I don't really see stuff in a dragon that would look in a Latios, but I might be wrong. Maybe there's like some dragon that looked like Latios before. Next is Garchomp. Garchomp is fine, except I heard that he can fly, and usually Pokemon that can fly are flying types, and sometimes they make it even weird by making every flying Pokemon a flying type, but we'll get to that later. But this one, it has wings and it can fly, so it makes sense that it would be able to fly. Next is Charizard. Charizard is a type that is kind of tricky, because Pokemon can only have 2 types, and Charizard needs 3, because he is a flying dragon, but you can't tell if he's a dragon when there's not a type. But he does learn dragon type moves, which means they basically put him in the kind of 3 types, but he's not a dragon type, which is weird. And now it's Altaria. It's kind of the opposite of what I said with Charizard. I don't see anything in a dragon in Altaria. Its flying type makes sense, but being a dragon doesn't make sense. Maybe like a fairy or something. That would make a lot more sense. Flygon, he's also, I don't see anything super bad about him. It's just that he should be a flying type, because kind of like Latios, flying is kind of his thing. He's like a dragonfly, kinda. I might be wrong, but he should be a flying type. Next is Mewtwo. Mewtwo should have another type. It should be fighting. Rather fighting or dark, because Mewtwo doesn't look like a dark type, but the things that he does do. Because pressure is usually the Pokemon that are fighting or dark look like you don't want to fight them. And Mewtwo, if you saw Mewtwo walking around, you probably wouldn't want to go up to it and start fighting it or something. Next is Incineroar. This one I'm pretty mad about, but at the same time kind of not, because they have been just throwing a bunch of random fighting starters. So Incineroar is definitely supposed to be different. They should make him a fighting type, a firefighting, because it makes sense. And if I saw him, he literally looks like a wrestler, and wrestlers, guess what? They fight, which is what Incineroar was designed off of. And the final one, which has no excuse of being wrong, is Lugia. He is definitely supposed to be a water flying, because physic flying does not make sense. Even an ice flying would be better. Physic makes absolutely no sense. What does he have to do anything with physic? Like, physic is not smart at all. Because I don't see anything in the physics that he does. And an honorable mention is Psyduck. His type, I'm not going to get mad at because it does make sense, but he still should be a physic type. It's literally in its name. But there are a few different Pokemon with physic powers that aren't physic type. So maybe I'll let this one pass. But other than that, I'm just fine with everyone else. There still are a few other Pokemon that I'm not so happy about. So if this gets 30 likes, I'll make a part 2. Okay, see you later.
Clear! Blue team victory!